want to share with you how I have worked this product and how I'm going to go about distressing it. But I need to show you first what I did to get the raised stenciling and the character into the background. Let me see if I zoom in, if you can maybe see it a tad better. You can see that the stenciling is raised, and then when I walk it out, you can see it's very rough over into the sides and everywhere else below this actual stencil. The reason I did this is, as you know, not all furniture is in excellent condition. Now, you don't know if you, sometimes there's scratches or gouges or whatever, and this is a great way to hide some of those blemishes before you use your paint that has chalk in it. The first layer, like I said, was done also with some black texture. What I did is I took a black and I added it to the DecoArt Traditions texture medium. I love this texture medium. I use it in all my painting arenas. It's a semi-transparent texture, so it doesn't change the pigment or the hue you add to it. When it dries, it comes back to its natural color. So I mixed the two together, and what it did is it changed some of the viscosity of that texture medium for me, which is fabulous. Any paint that has chalk in it is porous, and it will absorb any kind of moisture from whatever you add to it. So it made this really nice and workable. So I took a chip brush and I just slip-slapped it onto the surface because I wanted lots of movement into the background. When that was dry, I added a stencil, and the one thing about raised stenciling is you can always lock it back in place. I love that aspect. See, it just locks right over that raised stenciling. I put my stencil on, I used the texture medium, and I added a slight depth of the texture medium through the stencil motif. Whenever you're doing this process, you want to remember that you need to immediately clean your tools because you don't want the texture medium to dry. You won't be able to remove it. The other aspect about the DecoArt Traditions texture medium I like is it's very sandable. So I could always come back and knock any high points off of it. I then took an aqua and added a nice layer of aqua. So now I want to distress this back to reveal some of this black underneath. I've got a little bit more sturdy sanding block, I should say, than I would normally use. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start going over the stencil and removing some of this paint. Now, if you have watched any of my previous videos, what is it that I use that helps to loosen this paint for sanding ease? I always spritz with water. So I'm going to come along here and I'm going to spritz some water on this. Look at that. You can already see the black is starting to reveal itself. So I'm just going to add that water. It's going to soften the paint. It's going to make this whole process easier. And I'm going to come along and I'm going to work in a circular motion and remove some of the paint off of my raised stencil. Now the other thing I want to do is remove some edges. So I want to reveal some black here. I want to reveal it at the corners. Maybe on these bottom edges down here. Look how easy, because I've got that water on there again. I've got that raised stenciling, or the raised medium out along the edges too. So I could really distress this a lot, or I could distress it a little. I'm going to take a wet paper towel here and get some of this dust off. Now we need to let this dry. I'll turn the camera back on when it's dry, so you can see exactly how this looks. Now that the water has dried, you don't have quite the shine on it. Let me zoom in so you can see how beautiful this turned out. And then when I move it here, you can see how the movement areas I created with the chip brush and texture medium created some more areas to distress.